We're going to bring in Michael Larson now, an NJ Transit officer. His meeting with the assembled press. Let's take a look and listen.
Working there for so long, you'd never believe that could happen.
And so people understand what that terminal looks like. The track actually terminates, and then people can walk in that area where the track terminates.
Well, yes, the track terminates, and then they exit the train, and then the terminal is in front of where the tracks terminate.
Yeah, and so can you describe that scene? And I know, because I've seen you take deep breaths here, I know that this is difficult. What did you see immediately after? Describe the scene after the impact.
Well, we ran over, and there were a lot of people kicking out windows, trying to exit the train. We told them not to, because if there had been any the catenary wires are touching the top of the train, and you exit the train and touch the ground, you got electrocuted. A lot of people don't realize that, so we tried to keep them on the train, kept them on the train. And we determined there was no power, so we were able to enter the train. And we got into the first car. We got halfway through the first car. The second half of the first car was completely destroyed to where they were crawling on their hands and knees. And we were trying to get, as many people out. I assisted in maybe 3 or 4 people getting out. Then the police, the first responders came and told me to exit.
Can you describe the extent of the injuries that you saw?
I have no idea how many injuries there are. I saw some pretty serious injuries. They were alive and conscious, but yet very serious. But like I said, once the first responders and the police came, they made the rest of us stay far, because they also believe structurally the depot is not it's not structurally sound anymore, because the whole roof was ripped apart by the train. So as far as the amount of casualties, I absolutely have no idea. Hopefully it's very few.
But you're saying in terms of the damage to the train, the first half of the first car was destroyed.
Yeah, the first half of the first car was pretty heavily damaged.
And the engineer, as you know, it would have been in that lead car, right?
Yes.
Even though the train was powered by a diesel, right at the back.
Locomotive is in the rear, but but he's operating the locomotive traction power from the first car. So he's in the first car, and he's right in the front of the first car. So what his condition is, I don't know.
Now we said a moment ago, you work on locomotives. Does this particular model of locomotive have positive train control or anything that would govern the speed? Is there the so-called dead man switch on this?
Well, yeah, it's not called a dead man anymore. It's called an alerter. There's many different positive train control, aspects in use here. In the depot, I mean, that's not my expertise. I don't, I couldn't comment on any kind of train control in the depot. I really don't know. That's in my field. Sure,
understood. But fair to say you went into the train with others, I guess.
Yeah, there was me and about 4 or 5 other. I think the station master was there, and actually a couple of non-employees came in. Anybody that could help, that was right there.
Yeah. If you had to sum up your reaction to all of this.
Again, that was Michael Larson, and a New Jersey Transit worker and a first responder who entered those cars at the front of the train. Took the blunt force of that impact there in Hoboken.